How does transpositional trickery work in chess openings? Imagine you're playing chess and want to surprise your opponent with a different move order that still leads to a familiar position. That's what transpositional trickery is all about. It's like taking a shortcut or a detour to reach a known opening setup without following the usual path. Instead of starting with the standard moves, you play moves in a different sequence that still ends up in the same position. This can throw off your opponent because they might have prepared for a specific opening line, but now they face a different move order that they're less familiar with. For example, if your opponent expects you to start with the move pawn to d4 and then play pawn to c4, you might begin with knight to f3 instead. This move can lead the game into a different opening, like a ready or king's Indian attack, even though the final position looks familiar. The key is understanding how different move sequences can lead to the same pawn structures and piece placements. This is called transposing, and it's a powerful tool in your opening repertoire. Using transpositional trickery helps you confuse your opponent, especially if they have prepared specific lines against certain openings. It also allows you to avoid unfavorable lines or traps they might have prepared for you. By changing the move order, you can steer the game into positions that better suit your playing style or that you are more comfortable with. For example, if your opponent expects a queen's gambit after pawn to d4 and pawn to c4, you can instead start with knight to f3, which might lead into a different opening like the English or the king's Indian attack. Understanding how pawn structures work is essential because many openings are defined by their characteristic formations. Knowing how different move orders lead to the same structure helps you plan and adapt during the game. It's about being flexible and aware of the different paths that can lead to the same position. In practical terms, this means studying common transpositions in your opening repertoire. Recognize which move sequences can lead to familiar positions and prepare for those variations. It also involves thinking ahead about how your opponent might try to steer the game into less familiar lines and being ready to respond. By doing so, you can take control of the game's flow and make your opponent uncomfortable by forcing them into unfamiliar territory. So, transpositional trickery is a clever way to keep your opponent guessing and to guide the game into positions that favor your style or preparation. It's a strategic move order that can give you a psychological edge and help you navigate the early game more smoothly.